carry on for the next 2 hours here and there. So when I say M-I want you to say legalize. Let's try this right now. M-I! 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 That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Hash Bash 2015. Hash Bash isn't just the speakers up here, it is all of you. You right here, right now are the speakers. I want to give a shout out to Justin Hine for designing the programs. Did a really great job. We're going to have Leith Al-Sadi up here in a little bit, playing our Star Spangled Banner. Before that, though, I want to introduce Adam Brook, longtime friend, longtime organizer and MC of the Ann Arbor Hash Bash. Revitalized it and, brought it back to its glory in the 90s. And Adam's going to tell you a little bit about how things work here today. And, he'll tell you about the laws because this is a smoke-free campus. So if you're a well-seasoned activist like myself, maybe you had some space cake around 11:15. All right. Adam, you ready to speak?
How y'all doing? All right, before we do this, how many of y'all have a medical card in your pocket? Who cares? How many of y'all got weed in your pocket? Pull it out. Who keeps weed in their pocket? Here's the deal, folks. Contrary to the clouds of smoke you see passing through the air, this is a smoke-free campus. You cannot smoke anything on this campus. And the sheriff didn't show, so you can't smoke him. Right. Here's the deal. If you have an emergency, the police will help you. That's what they're here for. They're not here to arrest you. They will. Don't front them off. You may not understand what fronting them off is. Fronting them off is when you stand there and you think, well, this is Ann Arbor, which this is not. This is the University of Michigan. And they'll tell you how different it really is. And the reality is, on campus, they enforce state law. Possession of marijuana under state law is a misdemeanor. If you have enough of it, it's a felony. However, the interesting thing is you're in Ann Arbor. So if you do get a ticket, fight it, because you end up in the same court where they enforce a civil infraction, and I suggest you ask for that. If you do get stopped in Ann Arbor and you can get a cop to write you a ticket, it's a $25 civil infraction. I'd pay it and frame it and hang it on a wall. I did this event as MC and organizer for many, many years, and I can't tell you how exciting it is to see the lineup of speakers they have this year. This is about the future of Michigan and what's going on here. And the reality is that 2016 is going to be a game changer all across this country when it comes to marijuana. That's what we've been fighting for many years. I'm looking forward to getting back to the days of Hash Bash where we used to sit out on the lawn, smoke weed all day, there were no speakers, and nobody cared. And there was even more people in town. So I appreciate y'all coming out. Again, if you have any problems, the police are here to help you. What you don't want to do is front them off. Now, I do see you all smoking, and well, I smoked earlier. That's what we do here. But be cool and certainly respect the property here. The university allows us to do our thing. So I appreciate y'all coming out. We got some great speakers. I'm very excited about the mayor, Virg Bonero. I spoke with him for a minute. The man's a genius. Pay attention. I don't know who I'm handing this off to. Mr. Nick. I do have to stop everybody. We owe this man a great debt of gratitude. It's him who put this on. It's he who is responsible. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you very much, Adam. I appreciate it. And really, you know, part of it is, you know, was being in the right place at the right time and also having the right people to show me the way. Adam Brook being one of them, took me under his wing. So, anyway, I'm very excited to have the pleasure every year to announce a good friend and local activist and a musician to the stage. He's really a fantastic guitarist. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Laith Al-Sadi.
On the University of Michigan Diag Smoke Out Protest. My name's Charmie Gholson. I'm the founder of Michigan Moms United. Thank you for coming here today. Thank you, Grandfather, for getting all of these people here safely from across the state. Please welcome John Sinclair.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. How you like Laith Al-Sadi on the guitar? I liked him so much, I asked him to give me some music and we'll do a poem together.
Yes. Pick up some jams.
It's great to see everybody here on the Diag of the University of Michigan. In terms of our marijuana legalization movement, one of the most backward institutions in the state of Michigan. A few years ago, I had the pleasure of attending an event like this at the University of Massachusetts campus in Amherst, Massachusetts. They've been doing it for a long time, and the year I was there was the year the university decided to let them have it. And so there wasn't no police, everybody could smoke all the weed they wanted. It was a beautiful thing. It was as close to civilization as you get here in the United States. Wait. We're going to try and offer a small poem here in honor of the occasion. I don't care so much about the speeches. I gave the first speeches in Michigan calling for legalization of marijuana 50 years ago. We still here with the same goofy program. Wait. That's what I'm talking about. What is jazz but spirituals played through saxophones and trombones? Spirit voices through metal tubings and the terrible repetition of the formal premise is trance-like at its best, or boring when the spirit doth not move. Oh, what is blues but spirituals with a line removed? That is structurally and in content just a prayer to the gods of daily life, to ask the blessing that the body of another may lay warm in the bed beside you at night, and the rent be paid, and a meal on the table with the sheriff far away from the scene of the crime. Oh, what is jazz but the registration of the human personality in relation to the spiritual, stripped of literal meaning, but full of sound and portent, direct as the voice of the God. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, everybody.
Hot damn. Aren't you glad you got in your car and drove to Ann Arbor today? I want to welcome my dear friend Jim Powers and his son Ryan to the stage. Jim and his wife Erin are co-founders of Michigan Parents for Compassion. They fight for legal protections and safe access for pediatric cannabis patients and their families. And their son Ryan is here with them today. He's 6 years old. Welcome, please, Jim and Ryan Powers.
Happy Hash Bash! We're here today because cannabis oil has made my son Ryan's life better. Ryan has a very serious illness. It's an autoimmune condition called minimal change disease, and it attacks his kidneys. Ryan has been on many, many different toxic medications, and none of them have worked for him. We basically came to the end of our rope when we decided to try cannabis oil, but the result was immediate. Before cannabis oil, Ryan was able to maintain a remission of about 14 days. I'm pleased to report that today, on cannabis oil, Ryan has been in remission for 302 days. And although that's great news, folks, I have some not so great news for you. The state of Michigan has failed my family. The state of Michigan has failed every single one of us. 63% of voters in this state passed our Medical Marijuana Act. We have only asked for legal protection for my very seriously ill son and his non-smokable forms of medication. It has been 2 years and we are still not protected. So there's a few bills in the legislature. I definitely encourage every single person here to call your representatives and voice your support for House Bills 4209 and 4210. Those are the non-smokable and provisioning center bills. But more importantly, I am now involved on the board of directors of MI Legalize. MI Legalize is not only going to legalize marijuana for every individual 21 years of age and older in the state of Michigan. MI Legalize is going to protect my 6-year-old son, and he's going to protect me. We really need your help, folks. There's a whole line of tables set up here on the Diag for people to sign up, to volunteer, help us pass out petitions, and help us gain support. We need everybody's support if we're going to make this happen. But I guarantee you, if we pass it, no one will ever be arrested for marijuana use or possession in this state ever again. And we can do this in 2016. M-I! 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 Thank you, folks.
Alyssa Irwin is up next. She is 18 years old now, but she was 14 when she learned that she had brain cancer. You can imagine being 14 and hearing that kind of news. We're seeing this all over the country. We're seeing it all over the state. When we first passed the medical marijuana law, I was like, hippies, please stop with the miracle plant shit, would ya? Because I thought it didn't help us, but guess what? I have seen concentrated cannabis oil do things that no pharmaceutical drugs can do. I have seen concentrated cannabis oil treat all of the horrible things that pharmaceutical drugs do to you. So I think that's some miracle shit. I really do. Please welcome Alyssa Irwin.
Holy cow. Welcome. Hi, guys. My name is Alyssa Irwin. I'm 18 years old. I'm here today because cannabis oil saved my life. When I was 14 years old in 2011, I was diagnosed with grade 3 anaplastic astrocytoma, which is an incurable aggressive brain cancer. U of M told me that I couldn't do radiation due to my cancer being in a spiderweb form. But I couldn't try this new chemo pill called Temidor. Thank you. My godfather attended his monthly Compassion Club meeting, which they told him about a man named Gersh Avery, aka Peanut Butter. Gersh had access to the cannabis oil and also makes his own all-natural topical oil, which I call my hair treatment. My parents researched the subject, then sat us down as a family to watch the documentary, What If Cannabis Cures Cancer? And Run for the Cure. We all decided that cannabis oil was the way to go. We didn't have access to the oil yet, so we chose to start the chemo. I only took it for 5 days because it made me very sick. After a few days, we finally gained access to the oil.
What they called anticipatory neglect. They thought we might neglect her, and so they came and took her. Bree is now free. Bree Green is here with her father, Steve Green. We love you, Bree. We love you, Bree. You're welcome, honey. We love you. Bye. You want to say bye-bye?
Bye-bye.
So even after we legalize marijuana in Michigan, we are still going to have a lot of work to do. We are going to have to roll up our sleeves and reach into the criminal justice system, and reach into Child Protective Services, and reach into the Department of Health, and reach into the courtrooms, and let these people know that they still can't take our children. Okay? That is the #1 thing. is our families. So one of the great things about working in this movement is that we see an influx lately of young people, which I really love because they are fucking everything up and you have to clean it up, you guys. So thank you for coming here. We're happy to pass the baton. Students for Sensible Drug Policy is a magnificent organization all across the country. Kids in colleges and universities across the country get involved, they get educated, they work together, they learn how to help us end this family-eating, failed drug war. Right now we've got Stacia Koshner, she's the Deputy Director for the National Deputy Director for Students for Sensible Drug Policy, and Scott Cecil, who's the Outreach Coordinator. Please welcome them.
What's going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Fantastic. So, as she said, my name's Scott. This is Stacia. This is our first time at Hash Bash. We flew here from DC yesterday by way of Detroit. It was pretty awesome. But I got to tell you, we feel right at home here. You guys are our people. We feel so welcome. And honestly, I couldn't be more thrilled to be speaking to you today, especially now that I understand the history of this event and just how important this is. Who out there has heard of Students for Sensible Drug Policy before?
For those of you who don't know about us, SSDP is an international network of students dedicated to ending the failed war on drugs. Founded in 1998 in response to a law that stripped financial aid eligibility from students with drug convictions, we're comprised of thousands of students at more than 200 schools across the U.S. and abroad.
That's right, Stacia, but you guys should all know that our advocacy stretches well beyond college campuses. SSDP members have been instrumental in major campaigns recently, such as Amendment 64 in Colorado, and more recently, Initiative 71 in Washington, D.C.
That's right. Last year, our students and supporters made more than 15,000 calls to voters in Alaska, Oregon, Florida, and D.C., urging them to support marijuana policy reform ballot initiatives. Young people really do have the power to create change.
That's right, Stacia, they do. And in fact, it's happened right here in Michigan with our students. Back in 2012, our chapter at the Eastern Michigan University decided to embark on a really ambitious campaign to make marijuana the lowest law enforcement priority for the city of Ypsilanti. And with, I'm talking about no money, people, that no budget, no experience, and they were able to get that on the ballot and get it passed. Hell yeah.
But Scott, isn't it true that pot is basically legal and that nobody gets busted for weed anymore?
You know, I've heard that too, but on the contrary, Stacia, students are still being stripped of financial aid for drug charges, even for first-time misdemeanor marijuana offenses. Students who are medical marijuana patients don't have a safe space to medicate on campus, even though they have a legal medicine. And students caught to be in violation of school marijuana policies are often evicted from dorms at the moment of the infraction or even subject to suspension or expulsion.
And off-campus, welfare recipients are being denied their benefits if they test positive for marijuana. Children are being taken away from their parents who smoke, even if they're medical marijuana patients in their state. And police are still targeting minorities, all in the name of the drug war.
So look, we know all of y'all get it. All right, but we really need to remain committed to this cause. So we hope that you will keep these injustices in mind and help us keep the momentum alive that we've been building now for the last several years in the country. We need to stop treating people like criminals for using cannabis.
So like Scott said, we're from Washington, D.C., where marijuana was recently made legal. And I gotta tell you guys, it's pretty sweet. It's so amazing to wake up every morning to know that nobody in our city is going to see the inside of a jail cell for simply possessing or growing marijuana.
Now, looking around, and this is my first time even in the state of Michigan, let alone Ann Arbor, and it seems like you guys have some pretty decent marijuana laws on the books, but those laws certainly did not change themselves. So we want to take a minute to give it up to all the Michiganders who've been working on this for years that made decrim possible in Ann Arbor to have this kind of an environment.
If any of you youngins out there are not a part of SSDP, you absolutely should be. You shouldn't be here and not be a part of SSDP. Our next speaker is the man standing to my left, one of the bravest men in all of Michigan. He stood up against the entire system and sued the city of Wyoming This suit went all the way to the Supreme Court in Michigan, and he won. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to change a law, you have to change a law, excuse me, I'm going to start over. In order to change a law, you have to challenge a law. And that's what we've been doing right here for the last 44 years. Please give it up for Mr. John Sinclair.
Is everybody happy? Yeah, I'm John Sinclair. I'm an attorney from Wyoming, Michigan, and this whole lawsuit started out because at a city council meeting.
My fellow hash bashers, our next guest is one of the most passionate and devoted warriors fighting this drug war and its injustices for the past 40 years. He spearheaded the initiative to pass medical marijuana in the city of Ann Arbor 4 years before the state got its act together in 2008. He also led the initiatives to decriminalize in cities all across the state. He is what we owe this man so much for what he's done and what he continues to do. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Ann Arbor's very own, Mr. Chuck Ream.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not going to be me, it's not going to be the new board that's been formed that's going to carry us on to victory, it's going to be you. And if you don't carry us on to victory, we're going to fail. And it's not going to be the fault of this board that's working their ass off every day. It's going to be the fault of all of us who didn't step up, and by God, I hope there's no fault. I hope that we win everything in 2016. We're going to legalize adult use. We're going to solidify and extend medical rights and have real safe access for people, including dispensaries. And we're going to let the average Michigan farmer grow industrial hemp. And I've been smoking cannabis for 48 years, and I don't know any difficulty yet. I had a bad stomach problem. Without cannabis, I would be dead by now, and I'm having a very productive and very good life.